Coming up on Good Taste. That is phenomenal. We're heading out to the high desert to visit the crown jewel of the Big Bend.
There's nothing like it.
Marfa is magical.
Oh my gosh, there's just too much to choose from.
Marfa is full of stars, from Beyonce to Matthew McConaughey to even Pluto.
Apparently he's a celebrity.
Marfa is a giant adventure waiting to happen. So get ready to lasso your appetite. Oh, wow. Our special Good Taste from Marvelous Marfa starts now. Hi everyone, welcome to Good Taste. I'm Tangi Patton. Say hello to far west Texas. The beautiful Davis Mountains are just over my shoulder. Humans have lived in this spot for more than 8,000 years. This breathtaking place is perfect for stargazing and sometimes even close encounters of the celebrity kind. Out here, you can work up an appetite in a hurry. So it's a good thing the charming town of Marfa is nearby to answer the call of the hungry. Deep in the Chihuahuan Desert, on Texas Route 17, the quaint town of Marfa dots the high desert landscape.
I like to extol the virtues that there's no Walmart and no traffic lights.
Who needs a traffic light when you've got one of America's top-tier restaurants right in your backyard?
It's kind of like, you know, a James Beard gym in the middle of the desert.
With its rustic, earthy ethos, Cochineal has put Marfa on the world's culinary map. Tell me about where you were and what went through your mind when you heard about the James Beard nomination.
I was in shock, actually.
It's not easy to get to this world-class restaurant, but boy, is it worth it.
It is as if you were in the finest dining restaurant in New York City.
These gorgeous dishes are a feast for the senses.
The food here is like art.
Cochineal's crunchy French croquette is filled with delicate rabbit confit, set on a beautiful green pea goddess puree, and topped with dainty, edible flowers.
It was just to die for. It was so good.
The stunning charred artichokes are almost too pretty to eat. Fired up over mesquite wood, this sweet, nutty, smoky sensation is a culinary trifecta. The menu is packed with local, regional, and seasonal ingredients. There's even an organic garden out back.
We just harvest everything right before service pretty much, and it's all fresh.
Beets, sage, scallions, mustard greens. If they can grow it, it'll be on your plate.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
I wish my garden looked like this. The fixed price menu changes weekly. One of the most popular proteins served up here is the exotic nilgai, wild-hunted South Texas antelope.
It's kind of elevated home cooking, basically, is the way I look at it.
California and New York have both been home for Alex, but her love of sustainable local food was honed during childhood summers in the Swiss Alps.
My grandfather would go fishing every morning at the crack of dawn and bring back buckets of fish, of trout, lake trout, and put them in the bathtub until lunch.
Alex was working at a restaurant in Brooklyn when she met her husband, James.
He's a Texan, and he wanted to move back to Texas, to his home, to be closer to his family.
They settled in Austin. Then a weekend trip to Marfa changed her life.
To me, the most beautiful part of Texas. I felt the same thing in New York. First time I went to New York, I felt the same, like I have to live here. And that's how I felt here.
While they were planning the move, Alex's life changed again.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer, so we kind of put that on hold because I had to deal with that. When I finished cancer treatment, it was like I had to do this because it's something I think anybody who's gone through cancer will understand this, that you stop putting off what you're putting off for the future.
They sold everything, moved to Marfa, and never looked back.
Life is short. You just realize that there is definitely a limit to being here, so.
The vibe at Cochineal reflects Alex's mindfulness and her deep appreciation for time.
It's kind of nice for them to sit and have a couple hours having conversation and having dinner, a long leisurely dinners.
It's kind of like no one in Marfa is in a hurry to be anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
You'll need that time to savor all this food. If you're lucky, you'll get a traditional dish from Alex's Swiss roots.
It's called Tutti Schnatzltes, and it's
Tutti?
Tutti Schnatzltes. Geschnatzels.
Kashnatchless. I'm close. It's not easy to pronounce, but it sure is easy to eat. Tender slices of nilgai, smothered in a butter-filled, wine-infused, irresistibly creamy mushroom sauce. You can already tell this is going to be delicious.
You can't go wrong with butter, white wine, and cream.
It's got everything, right? The perfect combination. Oh, wow. That's delicious. There really is something special about Cochineal. It could be the fantastic food, or maybe it's one woman's unwavering belief that family, friends, good food, and time are all you really need. Still to come, Marfa is a magnet for stars. Find out why some of the biggest legends in Hollywood have stayed right here. Then, before planning your Marfa getaway, pop a cork on adventure in my wine finds. Plus, a burrito so big, you've got to eat it to believe it.
It's heaven on earth.
Next. Get social with us. Follow us on Instagram at Goodtaste TV. Cisco, at the heart of food and service. Welcome back, everyone. Here in Big Bend country, everything is big, including the burritos. And in Marfa, it doesn't get any bigger than the legendary, the massive Marfa Burrito, a Texas-sized meal made from scratch by the Burrito Queen herself. Like a figure out of the Old West, the Burrito Queen looms large in these parts. Her name is Ramona Tejada. She works her magic in this humble kitchen, a tiny spot that draws not only locals, but tourists and its share of celebrities. I'm in burrito heaven here. This is very good. Just on the southern edge of town, this tiny, unassuming house is home to the larger-than-life handmade tortillas that have made Marfa Burrito famous.
You could tell they're actually handmade. You could taste it right off the bat.
How big is the burrito?
I'd say at least over a foot for sure. You gotta kind of slide it off the table to eat it, you know.
The zesty salsa verde is a winner. I enjoyed every salsa I tasted. If you like a little picante in your life. It's a small spot, but it delivers big burritos. And not just big in size, even bigger in heart. A lot of places make burritos, right? They're easy to find, but what makes your burritos so special?
¿Cuál es el que hace tus burritos especiales? ¿Cuáles? ¿Qué los haces con?
Pues recibir la gente con mucho amor.
Made with lots of love.
She loves people, she said.
It shows. You might feel like you're eating right in Ramona's home. Well, that's because you are. Was this where you lived?
This.
So this was your home?
Si aquí vivías.
Sí.
These walls tell the tale of nearly 3 decades of serving famous burritos here.
My mom is very friendly. She'll always receive everyone with a smile.
Speaking only Spanish, Ramona came from Mexico and made her way to Marfa to pursue the American dream. She thought she'd found it by selling burritos at a local store. But then she was told she'd have to sell them somewhere else. Oh, what a gift to be told. Go someplace else, right?
That was the best thing they ever did, I guess.
In a leap of faith, Ramona and her husband started this eatery with just $45. It had to be tough in the beginning.
It was very tough for her. You know, slow days, she wouldn't make it, but then started to pick up.
That's when Ramona's luck seemed to change, with some help from a lucky star. You've had a lot of stars come through here, right? Celeb encounters here include such stars as Matthew McConaughey, Kevin Bacon, and even Faith Hill. But Ramona's favorite?
Matthew.
Matthew McConaughey.
He brought her a lot of luck, is what she's saying.
Oh, really? He brought you luck. During a visit to Marfa, even Anthony Bourdain joined Ramona in the kitchen to cook. Oh my gosh, what an honor that must have been.
Muy bonito.
Yes, she said it was an honor, and he was very nice person.
It's easy to see why celebrities and locals alike flock to this place to dive into these bountiful burritos. Truly, this spot is a Marfa must. Long after you leave, you'll still remember the tiny place with the big burrito.
It's heaven on earth.
It's a taste of Marfa you'll never forget.
Yeah, it's a staple. Can't miss it.
There's nothing like it. Irreplaceable.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud. Everything's larger than life on the silver screen. But in Marfa, that goes double for roadside art. Like this giant tribute to a Hollywood classic. Part of the movie Giant was filmed right on that ranch, where James Dean famously struck black gold. Nearly 70 years later, you can still strike gold in Marfa. You just gotta know where to eat. There may not be gold in these mountains, but almost every morning, there's a gold rush happening at Aster Marfa.
I love it.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
The baked goods here are as good as gold.
That is so good.
Everyone can't wait to gobble up some goodies.
Oh my gosh, there's just too much to choose from. Everything looks so good.
Like the starburst flower it's named for. Aster Marfa is a beautiful desert bloom, drawing hungry folks from literally all over the world.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Chicago, Illinois.
From Austin, Texas.
Tampa, Florida.
This European-style bakery has an old-world charm. That's because the baker behind this party for your palate isn't from around here.
It's a long journey from Germany. I left Germany when I was 22.
She discovered Marfa by way of New York, New Orleans, and Tucson before making a dream come true by creating this charming bakery. This modest scratch kitchen delivers knockout dishes and ooey gooey goodness.
That's phenomenal. They're all so good.
Hearty, healthy options abound, like the ultra-fresh kale avocado salad. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better breakfast anywhere on the planet. Just ask Martha Stewart, who was quite impressed with her morning meal here.
What was that like?
Martha was in Marfa. It was awesome. I'm a big fan of hers.
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't? She is amazing. Of course, I had to go say hello, and she was very kind and sweet.
Some New Yorkers claim the bagels here are the best they've ever had. And the buttery croissants?
These are phenomenal.
Thank you very
That
much.
crusty and then so buttery and just light on the inside. This is delicious.
Everyone here has a role in the community, including the unofficial mascot of Marfa, this little guy named Pluto.
Apparently he's a celebrity. He made his way through here, had some blueberries and
A rule for the high desert: save room for dessert.
That is phenomenal. Oh, whoa.
My favorite dessert? This scrumptious creation.
It's beautiful.
This Burnt Basque Cheesecake is so good, it's worth driving clear across the Lone Star State just to have a bite.
Oh my gosh.
It's simply divine. Whether you visit Marfa for a day, a week, or just a few hours, drop by Aster for the best eats by a country mile.
Come, taste it.
You'll be glad you did.
Yes, exactly. Cheers to Aster. Congrats on your success.
Thank you.
More from Marfa in just a minute. We love to share good taste. Head to our website at goodtaste.tv. Don't forget, sign up for our newsletter while you're there. Good Taste with Tangi is brought to you in part by H-E-B. Welcome back. Just like some legendary spots in Marfa, when it comes to Texas Q, one name really stands out: the original Black's Barbecue in Lockhart. We dropped in to see what's smoking. Keep your appetite handy. You're going to need it because we're at the original Black's Barbecue in Lockhart, Texas, celebrating 90 years in this original location. And I'm with the 4th generation pitmaster, Barrett Black. And we're going to learn today how not to mess up the meat you've put so much time and money into, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we have so much invested in it in so many ways. So we want to make sure we get it perfect all the way to the very end, right before that bite.
And the big mistake most of us have made at one time or another is we don't slice it right.
That's right. Yeah, it's still going to taste good, but we just want to make sure it's perfect. And brisket is probably the most tricky of all because it has 2 different muscles, and you want to make sure you cut against the grain, and the grains of each muscle go different directions. And so when I'm not sure which way the grain is going on this lean end, I always just take a peek underneath. You can see the grain. These little strings going in this direction. And so we're going to cut against it, so 90 degrees perpendicular to it. So we'll just go ahead and cut like this.
Cut off that delicious burnt end.
Yes, people love that. And what you're looking for is these nice little dots of meat right here. And so that means you cut against the grain. If I were to cut with the grain, pretty quickly see it gets very stringy, and there's a big difference in what that looks like.
If you cut it incorrectly, you're going to tell the difference, right?
Yes, it's still gonna be good, but it's not gonna be as great as it can be. It's gonna be more tough. It's not gonna melt in your mouth like brisket should. And it should if you put in all that time and effort.
Yes.
Investment.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All the difference in the world, really. So good. Thank you. Out here on the high desert in magnificent Marfa, there's an adventure waiting to happen, whether it's on the big screen or on a little canvas. The town is a thriving art scene.
The sky is painted with every color you can imagine at sunset.
The natural environment here is so inspiring, and that's become a big part of my work.
So much of what people enjoy about this town is the inherent charm of our locals. I mean, they're friendly, they're funny, they're interesting, they're full of history.
That history includes the summer of 1955, when Hollywood came to Marfa to make a monumental movie. Giant was larger than life and was the final film for James Dean.
The cast and crew stayed in the hotel. They would have their lunch meetings and dinners in the ballroom.
These days, Hotel Paisano pays tribute to the classic film, which remains a love letter to the Lone Star State.
You will absolutely love walking around the hotel and looking at all the behind-the-scenes photos that were taken during the shooting of that movie.
Yes.
If you come to Marfa, I say this is where you would want to stay. There's so much history.
And if you want to party like James Dean's character, Jet Brink, just step inside Jet's Grill here in the hotel.
Tell me about the famous chicken fried steak.
So it's our pistachio fried steak. It has a jalapeno gravy. Yes,
it's so good.
So if you're hungry for some inspiration, along with some really good eats, just make a beeline for the Big Bend, where magnificent Marfa awaits. Marfa is an eclectic spot, so I've got some adventurous wines to go with in my wine finds. Up first, the Esteo Vino Verde, a light, refreshing wine that pours perfectly in the desert or anywhere in Texas. This wine has a slight effervescence with citrus flavors. One sip leaves you wanting another. I like to pour it over ice with just a squeeze of lime. The Esteo Vino Verde is only $6 a bottle. Up next, an iconic Texas wine brand, a family that helped put Texas winemaking on the map, Becker Vineyards. This is their GSM, a beautiful blend of Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre. GSMs are one of my favorite blends because they pair so beautifully with all kinds of foods, red meats, chicken, even some rich pasta dishes. The Becker Vineyards GSM is about $19 a bottle. Up next, a wine from one of my favorite wine regions, Bulgari in Italy. Noteworthy wines like Ornellaia and Sassicaia come from Bulgari. This Bulgari wine is a typical Bordeaux blend of Cabernet, Merlot, and Cab Franc, but it's more modern in style. You're going to get aromas of violets and a hint of earthiness on the nose. It has flavors of dark cherry, plums, and a hint of tobacco. This wine would pair beautifully with meats of all kinds, including that beautiful nilgai from Cochineal. The Bulgari Viticchio is about $30 a bottle. Whether you're in Marfa or another great spot in Texas, you can find all these wines and a whole lot more at H-E-B. Ready for a roundup? Good Taste will be right back. One of the best ways to take in Marfa? Right here, under the stars. We've had such an amazing visit. We want to thank all the friendly folks here for sharing some big-time Big Bend hospitality. A big thank you to Marfa's unofficial ambassador, Abby Boyd, and to the beautiful Hotel Paisano. We've had an incredible stay. This is my first time to Marfa. It won't be my last. Cheers to good taste. If anybody sees anyone take off with my stuff, let's take off after them.
Don't worry, I'll karate chop. It's part of the services I offer.
Oh, good. Do you really know karate?
I don't know karate, but I do know crazy.
Crazy. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Leave that in. That was good.